pay attention to that. Right, well, hello everybody, and thank you for coming to listen to me talk a little bit about Christmas. The C word is well and truly being used in the UK now because it's December. I always get a bit bar humbug before December, but we're rushing along quickly to the Christmas Day. So the North Americans in our tribe have all had one practice run with Thanksgiving. So if you didn't do well at Thanksgiving, doesn't matter, you get to have another go. So you've got a better chance at Christmas, and you can look at what went wrong at Thanksgiving or what you would change, and you can apply it this time. So, but for those of us that haven't had a Thanksgiving, Christmas is coming over the hill, and it's a difficult time for people that are trying to cut down their drinking or sober curious, or have got some sobriety under the belt, because it's a time that's sort of it's very, very full of triggers. So the first thing I would say to anybody that is looking to have a sober Christmas is you are missing absolutely nothing by drinking alcohol. Okay, that's the first thing. And that's the bit that you will, everywhere is going to be telling you you're missing out, you need a drink. Drink makes Christmas this, it makes Christmas that. Have some champagne, or have some mulled wine. And it all sounds delightful until you've been drinking all day, you're feeling rough at night, you've had a row with your best mate or your partner, and you wake up the next morning with a really, really bad hangover and can't remember what you've done. And then it's not so great. So when you're thinking about Christmas and you're being bombarded with all the great things about drinking at Christmas, have a reality check when you're sober and think, what is this actually going to do for me? It's going to, it's going to make me feel bad about myself because I'd said I wasn't going to drink, and now I've been, I've caved in. So get your ducks in a row at the start and think about why you're not drinking, and think about the lies and bullshit that the industry is giving you, everybody's giving you about drinking. And then I would say the most important thing for Christmas is to plan ahead. So look at, write yourself a page and put a day for every day that's coming up to the new year. Do it to the 2nd of January. And write down all the things you've got on, because we pile tons into the few weeks before Christmas and New Year, and we overface ourselves and overwhelm ourselves. We have an awful lot to do. We've got everybody's expectations. You're either going somewhere and traveling, or people are coming to you, or you might have nobody coming and you're feeling really down about that. So have a plan as to what you've got coming up each day, and look at it and think sensibly about it, and say to yourself, can I do all of this, or is it going to put too much pressure on me? Because our objective this year is to have a brilliant Christmas, and to have a nice time, and to not drink, and to remember Christmas and not have any regrets. Okay, so if you plan Christmas well ahead, we've got some time. If you plan what you're going to commit to, and if you've overcommitted already, see what you can let go of, and do it politely. But you need to look at yourself and look after yourself in this run up to Christmas, and not take on too much. Because if you take on too much, you're going to get stressed. And we all think alcohol's a good stress reliever. It isn't. It numbs us a bit. And then we end up feeling worse the next day and more overwhelmed and overpressured, and we've got a hangover to deal with whatever's coming. But that's just another one of the little stories we tell ourselves with alcohol. So do come up with a plan and work out what you're going to do, and pick things you're going to enjoy. And if there's things you feel like you have to go to, make an appropriate excuse and don't go. Even if you have a headache on the day, or you don't. Honesty is not always the best policy when you're in early sobriety. So if you need to have a tummy upset or a headache or something to avoid something you didn't want to do, just phone up and do that. And it's not to make you feel bad, it's to give you some breathing space. So pick the things you think you can do, and then and let go of some things that are going to overwhelm you, you don't really want to do. And when you're going to go to something, have a plan. Are you going to drive? So you've got a really good excuse for not drinking. Are you going to tell people in advance that you're not drinking at the moment, and ask them to have something alcohol free in? Even better, take something you like to drink that's alcohol free. It doesn't matter whether it's, water or cordial, or alcohol free beer or wine or whatever, but take something you want to drink. If there's a restaurant you're going to, phone ahead and see what alcohol free drinks they have. And if they don't have alcohol-free drinks, tell them you're going to bring one and you want them to serve it for you. If you end up paying a bit of corkage, it doesn't matter. It matters that you have a nice time, you have an alcohol-free drink, you don't feel awkward. So plan ahead for that. And then if you think, well, this is going to be a boozy evening because your friends are all big drinkers, have an escape plan. And that's a very important thing. So know that you're going to, it'll all fall apart by 9:30, 10 o'clock, and you'll be getting tired anyway, and you might be getting more triggered. So book a taxi for that time if you're not driving, or somebody picking you up. If you are driving, tell people you've got a busy day, excuse me, the next day, and you're going to leave at this time. So tell them in advance that you're leaving. And if you haven't told them and everybody else is getting a bit merry, you can slip away and they won't really know or care. Just say, I'm really sorry, I'm really tired, I'm going to go now. And the other thing I would say for Christmas particularly is have a reason for not drinking, because drinkers always want to know why you're not drinking, especially if you were one of the main drinkers in the group. So again, you don't have to tell the truth, but have a reason so you don't feel awkward if somebody says, why you're not drinking. I mean, I go to places and somebody says, what do you want to drink? And I say, oh, I don't drink alcohol, it doesn't suit me. So I've already told them I'm not drinking, and a reason, which is a very nebulous reason. I'll have a alcohol-free beer, or I'll have a glass of water, and think of what you want to drink in advance. Like I say, plan that. And if somebody keeps pushing you, you get yourself 2 or 3 things, but don't get into a big, deep, involved discussion about why you're not drinking. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. You're having a nice time, you're enjoying Christmas, you're having a party, you're talking about nice things. So you just, tell them you're pregnant. I do that sometimes, and people look at it, she's nearly 60, how can she be pregnant? And by the time they've sort of come up with that brain thought, you can just laugh at them and move the conversation on. If you're not brave enough to do, I mean, Eric, that one won't work for you probably, but
No, I don't think so.
tell him it deteriorate your performance. What's the word I want? Your performance isn't up to scratch if you've had too much to drink. Or there's lots of reasons. Look at Janet laughing at me. I'm sorry, Janet, I've got myself distracted now because we've got a handsome young man.
Just waiting for the concrete ones to come out.
No, I'll keep that one quiet. I'll tell him that one privately. But have a reason and because anything that makes you feel awkward, you're going to, puts you under pressure, and then you're more likely to go, oh yeah, I'll just have a glass of wine, because you don't know, it's an instant reaction and you don't want to be stood out from everybody else. So plan what you're going to do, plan your excuse if people ask you, tell them to mind their own business. You can do that as well, and but laugh whenever you tell somebody something, just laugh and then move the conversation on. And if you're shy, a lot of people drink because they have anxiety, or they don't feel comfortable in company. Practice in the mirror, when you're cleaning your teeth. Well, you can't practice when you clean your teeth, but when you're looking in the mirror or sitting on the loo, just practice your responses to things, because if you've practiced them and you say them with a smile and you move the conversation on, that way you take the attention off you. And most people that really want to know why you're not drinking, it's their discomfort because they are drinking. So it's not about you, it's more about them. And invariably, if you say you're not drinking, people will then start to try and explain to you why they don't drink too much, when obviously they do. So it's not about you, but have your reasons and excuses. And the other thing I would say for Christmas, I mean, we've got the parties and going out, we've also got Christmas meals and family and things that cause tensions. So the same with going out, visualize yourself succeeding before the event, and run through what's going to happen. Think of all the good things that are going to happen, not the things that might go wrong. Forget the things that might go wrong. Think about all the good things, because having a happy mind full of the things that are going to go well will help you. And running through things that you're a bit nervous about and how you're going to deal with them is a good thing. Another thing I think, particularly at Christmas, and if you have challenging friends or family or people you don't normally spend time with, think about whether you want to be right or you want to be happy. And I love this one. I can't quite remember where this one came from. It was one of the things that pinged up probably when I was one of the coaching sessions with Lynette. But do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? You don't have to win every argument. and you will find it very, very difficult winning an argument with somebody that's drunk. And if you're drunk, you want to be right, don't you? You want to be right and you want other people to agree with you. So you don't need to be right. You don't need to win the argument. If you're happy with your own thoughts on something, that's great. And it doesn't matter whether the other person agrees with you or not. So if somebody's being a bit difficult, again, just say, that's an interesting thought. Why do you think that? Or change the subject to something you want to talk about if it's getting a bit heavy. Or take yourself out of the equation if you're finding it difficult. Oh, really sorry, I'm going to have to go to the loo. And then if you go to the loo and you're having a bit of a, oh my goodness, I'm having a meltdown, get on the WhatsApp and say, give me a hug, everybody, you know. Go to the tribe and get them to give you some moral support, so you can sneak off to somebody's back room, or you can sneak to the loo, or you can just say, oh gosh, I need some fresh air, it's too hot in here, and just go for a little walk outside if it's safe where you live to do that, and get some fresh air, you know, if it's not too grim weather-wise. So all of these things you can do, and if you plan these again and you've got them in your head as a, if you're finding things difficult, you can do this or do that, that's quite a good thing. But don't get involved in pointless arguments with drunk people, because they'll always win because they're drunk. Okay, and it doesn't matter, you don't need to be right. You're okay as long as you're okay in here with you and what you think. You don't need other people to agree. Escape plan, again, we've talked about this, but the escape plan is very important. So if you think it's going to be stressful at home, you know, my friend and I at Christmas always had to do the horses when we'd had enough of, you know, everybody all day. So we'd get a couple of hours outside, you know. They'd think, why do the horses always take 2 hours at Christmas when they're only taken an hour in, you know, the week before? But go and, you know, just think of something to do. Or if you've got a family with little children, play with the kids. You know, after a bit, when everybody's had a few beers or whatever, they don't want to play with the kids. Play with the kids. Playing with kids is great fun. So if you've got youngsters that you can go and sit on the floor with and enjoy their toys and give them some time, that's a good way of getting away from the, you know, the heavy grown-up discussions or whatever. And set people's expectations if you can, that, you know, you need to go and walk the dog, or you're going to get a bit of fresh air in the afternoon because you get a bit muzzy headed, or I'm trying to think, you guys probably, it's probably really glorious weather, isn't it, in South Africa, and everybody's doing, are you doing barbecues, braise, sorry. And you know, so again, have a think of something you can do instead for a little while. Even if it's going, you know, if it's your house, you're going to go and do the bit of the washing up and get rid of it. Just have a plan. And the other thing really I would say about Christmas is we get one every year. So if you mess this one up, it really doesn't matter. You'll learn what you need to work on more. So we're all at Tribe Sober shouting at people, progress, not perfection. So if you mess up, it doesn't matter. You get another go tomorrow, and you get another go at a birthday or another Thanksgiving or a big party or Valentine's Day or Christmas. These things are coming round, and actually, you know, you learn every time you make a mistake. We don't make mistakes, really, folks. We don't do anything wrong. We learn. We have an opportunity to learn. If we never did anything again, when we get things wrong, you know, we'd all still be in caves, and we probably wouldn't even invented fire. The reason we progress is because we keep trying, and we try different things until we find something that works. So particularly this Christmas, I want nobody to be beating themselves up about anything. I want you to be visualizing a really nice Christmas, visualize getting on with your rallies, visualize all the things that are going to go well, visualize or plan what you're going to do, so you've got an idea and you're not doing too much, you're not stretching yourself too much. If you're the, you know, the mum that's always cooking a massive meal for everybody, trying to make everybody happy, shrink your meal down, simplify it, make it a bit easier, so you've cut yourself a bit of time and space. Do things in advance if you get the chance. You know, if you're not drinking, you can do loads of prep running up to Christmas, as opposed to sitting getting pissed in the evening and doing nothing, and then it all being a real, you know, shitstorm the 2 days before. Eric, if you haven't done your shopping, this is maybe, I might be stereotyping you. Go and get your shopping done sooner rather than later. Running around on Christmas Eve, desperately looking for inappropriate presents for people because that's what boys do is not a good idea. So have a little plan, put a little bit of thought in, do it earlier. So the more you can prepare for everything, Christmas and everything, the more you can simplify things this year, the more fun you'll have. And people actually enjoy spending quality time with folks. You know, if you remember Christmases, often you don't remember the quality of the meal, you remember what people did or said or how they behaved. So, you know, if you can make things simple for yourself, do that. And if people are sniffy about it, well, suggest they do it next year. You know, that'll soon shut them up. So cut yourself some slack and don't beat yourself up about anything you've done you wish you could do better. You've done what you've done. And in reality, next year you can do something different if it suits you. But, you know, have a nice time, enjoy what you're doing, and don't beat yourself up. You're going to do an amazing job of Christmas. And you're going to get through and you're going to be sober in January and it's going to be great. And if you have a few days where you slipped up, you've got another day tomorrow. So it's not a problem. So that's my Christmas message, really, people. You're going to, you're going to enjoy this Christmas, because what's the point of having life if we don't enjoy it? And alcohol tends to make us not enjoy things because, you know, we have hangovers, we're more argumentative, all the things we know do us badly. So that's my too many words. If anybody wants to ask me any questions of how they'll deal with things or what they might say if people ask them things, then feel free to do that. Janet and Lynette will have more pearls of wisdom, I'm sure. So, you know, if there's anything else you want to know, just shout out, please.
Thanks, Lucy. I'm going to